In this video, I'm going to be scaping this Nano ADA aquarium. It measures 30 centimeters in length, 25 centimeters in height, and 18 centimeters in depth. And the depth of the aquarium can definitely be an issue since there's not much room for me to make it look particularly deep. So I will have to come up with a solution to that. And for the substrate, we'll be using aqua soil. I have here a bag of 9 liters. I know I'm not going to use all of it, but I am actually not sure how much I am going to use it, but I think maybe 1, 2, 3 liters approximately is a good amount. There, that should do it. And now we can even it out to see how much of the base we have covered. I think this looks good. Alright, let's get some lighting on. But before we begin with the hardscape, I think it's worth a mention to go over the hardscape that we're using. For the lighting, I'm using this Twinstar 20B3 lighting, which is already on. And for the filter, I'll be using this small hang-on-the-back Blau M120 hang-on filter. Okay, so now for the hardscape, I've chosen these 4 cereal stone that I already have taken out of the guppy tank from home. I have 4 of them. I want an uneven number, so I'm only gonna pick the 3 that looks the best. So I've played around with everything for a while, and I think I've arrived at this composition here, which I really like. This stone was actually one of the ones that I thought were quite pretty and had some good details, but I actually overall like the others more, so I'm not going to be using this one. And the rock that holds the weight of the big one, you'll be able to see lying flat. So I actually have the 3 pieces of hardscape that I want now. So now is time for planting. And let's begin with the stem plants. And now for the plants in the back, I actually really thought it'd be nice to have this kind of carpets of different rotalas. So I have the rotala greens here, I have the rotala atras here, and I have also rotala blood red here, all coming from my home tanks. So what I am going to do is actually just mix them around and place them in so they kind of blend together. I don't have as much rotala green as I would have liked to. So it's going to be primarily a red dominated background. Alright, so all of these stem plants are now in, and it's looking pretty darn good so far, if I have to say so myself. I'm quite surprised that I had this much rotala atra available to me, but I'm happy that I did. Hopefully it should come out good, and all of the greens will also become a lot more apparent than they are now, because all of the stems are quite small. Next is the midground plants. And for the midground, I will be using Alternanthera Reniki Mini, and I'm going to also have Schismatoglotis Priatoi. These were also harvested from a bunch of different of my tanks. These Schismatoglotis, they don't grow to be that much bigger than they already are now, which I think is a nice size for a tank of this relatively small size. And I'm gonna have these dotted around pretty much all across the midground, I think. But with these, I'm gonna have them centered more towards the focal points of the scape. Okay, Alternanthera is now planted, and next is the Schismatoglotis. And as you can see, it has these kind of rounded roundish texture to the leaves, which I think is really nice, and it grows actually quite compact as well. So I do think having it here in the midground, just kind of dotted about, will look good. And it is quite an underrated plant in my opinion as well. They're actually very, very useful. They can grow as epiphytes as well, planted on, yeah, glued to wood, rocks, hardscape. And they're also actually quite popular in the paludarium hobby as well. So I wonder if the leaves are actually able to grow submersed. Alright, so the schismatic lettuce is now also planted, and yeah, overall quite happy with how it looks so far. All of the roots that are visible now on the top, they will naturally find themselves into the soil over time, so that's nothing to worry about now. Now for the last bit, which will be the foreground, or at least the little bits that's left that I can actually plant in. And for this, I'm actually using a mixture of plants, and I'm trying something a bit new. I want to try and grow this Hypercotyl tripetita, also known as Hypercotyl SP Japan, in the foreground. And I also want to use a lot of the Liliopsis brasiliensis. There are some shoots of Helanthium tenellum green in here as well, but that I don't mind that too much, as long as the primary is that it is Liliopsis in the foreground, because the grassy textures of those plants will look good, but also the leafy textures of the Hydrocotyl will also look good in here. I also like the Hydrocotyl to kind of move up across the big piece of a focal point cereal here, so I'm gonna try and figure out a way to do that as well. Alright, so this is how it looks. Let's get the tank filled up and then wait a few weeks before we can do the follow-up. So it's now been 2 months since the tank was set up, and overall I'm actually very pleased with the outcome. You can see here the plants, the carpet, the Liliopsis brasiliensis is slowly coming into its own, and it's slowly starting to take over. It's not there yet, and I imagine it'll take another 2 or 3 months before the carpet has fully formed. But so far it's growing, and you can actually see the roots here at the front as well, that they're growing in nicely. I also didn't expect the red plants to grow as well as they have. I mean, you can barely tell the difference between the Rotella atra and the Rotella blood red. And I think that just comes down to the aqua soil and how powerful that is in terms of getting the growth from the stem plants. Another thing is the Rotella greens. They are also coming into their own, and I'm actually very happy that they are growing as well, because I actually struggle with them in my home tanks, but here with the aqua soil they are actually growing very nicely. There is also some algae forming elsewhere, and that just purely comes down to neglect. The tank is not in my home, and therefore I don't have as much time, and I don't come as frequently to do maintenance and such. And a little bit of Clatrophora algae has therefore also come and starting to spread, but I've taken out the worst bits, and I think overall now it looks good. For the inhabitants, I have gone with this mixed selection of Neocaridina shrimp and also a singular pleco in order to help and hopefully eat most of the algae in here. I'm planning on using this as my culling tank, so when I get blue shrimp or green shrimp or pearl shrimp from my home tanks that isn't really up to the standard, I can put them in here and they can still live a good long life. So here I have about 4 or 5 blue Neocaridina shrimp, and I have 2 green ones, and I also have 2 orange ones, and I have 2 pearl shrimp as well. These can hopefully be the kickstart of a nice Skittles shrimp colony in this tank, which will hopefully look good also in a few generations. But it'll be interesting to see how they'll look in about 6 months from now, because a lot of things will change. But yeah, let's go and add them in. And the shrimp has been acclimating for about an hour, where I've gradually taken some water from the tank and added it into the bucket here. So they should all be good to go.
And there we have it. The livestock has now been added and are now settling in very well. Overall, the vibrancy of the plants is the thing that has surprised me the most, and I'm definitely going to be using more aqua soil as a substrate base in future builds. Let me know in the comments what you think of the outcome for such a small aquarium, and thank you so much for watching.